4K is with us. We decided to go down the path of designing a full system that supported all of the 18 gigs bandwidth, the spectrum, which includes all the HDR features, all the high frame rate features that 4K currently offers for gaming and Blu-ray and all those things. Yeah. That was the inspiration, along with the usual, robust, fast and effective method of doing things for the professional integrator. The flexibility, the compact head shell, all of those things. How we help overcome the issues with system integration is that we test and we test and we test. All the cables that we manufacture goes through extensive testing, not just at the end, but through the process.
So these cables, they look like they're made just like any other ones, but we actually go through testing quite often. So the cables, when they're manufactured, so by cables, what I'm talking about is, this part here without the connectors on them. When the cables are created, they're tested on the big drums that the factory floor runs. So when the factory runs these cables, they run 3,000 meters, 5,000 meters, and we actually test it for performance, multiple performance specifications just on the cables themselves, just to make sure that whatever goes to the assembly house is itself already a perfect product. Then when it gets to the assembly house, they put the first layer of the connectors on, then they test it again for continuity, for
dry joints,
for voltage, high voltage. And then once they put all the other aspects of it, including the kind of connector shell, the back molding to kind of keep everything in place, then they do an additional test, the final test, which includes a function test to make sure that it performs at all the 18 gig required specifications. And then it gets bagged. As it's getting delivered to us, we also do sample testing for construction. So the connector shells are, go through bending tests, extraction force tests, and it's just a very, very, very tested product. And we do all this because we know that when the integrator gets the product, they expect nothing else but that it works. And we hear so many stories about people using HDMI cables that just fail in some way, and we don't want to give them that experience with our product.
We've been working with Kordz for, I guess, 4 to 5 years, maybe a little bit longer. We had an issue that we were getting a lot of service calls on individual parts. We had no real consistency. When we moved to Kordz, it gave us stability, it gave us consistency across products. One of the things we love with Kordz is we use different HDMIs in the racks to outside the racks. We have the active optical cables, but there's an HDMI cable that suits everything we need in the length we need, and there's never a problem where we can't find the product we need for that solution.
Kordz cables, what can I say? Fantastic range of HDMI cables. We used to randomly use cables from various brands, but we would have problems sometimes. But since switching to Kordz, they have a HDMI cable for every purpose, whether it's short just from point to point or something in the back of the rack. They've got some dedicated cables for that that are really, really great. Or something longer over greater distances. They have their fiber optic HDMI cables.